Hey everyone, how's it going? It's That Nerd Ryan here, and today we're going to be talking about the video game Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I'll be honest, I almost forgot to make this video because of Blue Beetle coming out, and then I just beat World at War last night too. So I'm doing a back-to-back review, and we're going to have World at War next Friday. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and talk about Kakarot. So I'm really not going to fully go over the story with this because it is the story of Dragon Ball Z. So obviously if you're playing this game, you're a Dragon Ball Z fan. You've probably played other Dragon Ball Z games that also cover this story. So yeah, I'm not going to cover... You go from the battle with Raditz to the battle with Kid Buu. There are like side quests that reintroduce characters from Dragon Ball like Ader or Nam, and there's just a lot to do in this game. Unfortunately for me, from what I felt with the side quests, the lots to do is very repetitive, I guess is the best way to say it. It's either go shopping or fight an enemy. You do get some of the weird like off ones of like you have to ride this like walker and like stuff like that, but it does get repetitive on these side stories from time to time. You also have random enemy classes that show up. So what I mean by that is like you'll get random encounters and it's like these like weird robots, Frieza Force, Cybermen, and like stuff like that. That's what you have to fight for your random encounters. And then of course you get the full missions that are like fighting Raditz, fighting Frieza, fighting stuff like that. The open world is very cool though. I do really enjoy being able to explore the Dragon Ball world and like seeing West City, Kami's Lookout, Kame House, everything like that. Like, it's really cool to see that and kind of get a perspective of where things take place during the anime. One thing that I did like not get into until very late in the game was the skill tree and stuff like that. I'm the kind of guy where I'm simple when it comes to RPGs, so like Pokemon where you just level up and change moves, and if you want to really get into it you put items on them and everything. I never really look at like, okay, if I do this certain thing I'll be more stronger in doing this or more adept at doing that. I never look into that, and I kind of waited all the way until the fights with Kid Buu to actually start doing that. Actually, a little bit beforehand, because Gohan, his leveling is kind of weird. And we'll actually talk about the leveling in a minute. I didn't think it was necessary, is all I'm going to say. But factoring in, like, how do I upgrade my, for example, Kamehameha Wave to more effectively fight this boss and like stuff like that. I usually never thought about that, but once you get to the late game you kind of have to start factoring in it. What I felt was unnecessary though, kind of, was the leveling. And what I mean by that is there's only 2 times in the entire game where leveling, like, you need to grind to level up. That being the very beginning and the very end. I believe you start obviously at like level 2 or something like that, and you have to fight Raditz, who's at level 4. So there's going to be this thing that I'm going to talk about in a minute called level gap, but the level gap is way too far for you to be able to defeat Raditz, so you have to go around, do some side missions, and grind. And then at the very end with Kid Buu, from fighting Super Buu to Kid Buu, he jumps like I think, 10 levels. And you have to grind to kind of get that. The only issue is, at that point in the game, they do hold all of the side missions, so you cannot grind. You have to grind the old-fashioned way of fighting random encounters, and what are called evil encounters. You have to do that to be able to hopefully boost up a level and be able to manage fighting Kid Buu. There's only 3 times I failed at fighting in this. Well, if you count each individual time, maybe about 7 times. But there's only 3 fights where I failed. It was Goku versus Raditz. I failed once, then I grinded, got up. Gohan versus, I think it was Boo the first time, and that was just because I wasn't focusing or taking it seriously. And then Goku versus Kid Buu in the first fight. That took me about 4 or 5 tries to actually get it, just because of the level gap. So there's something that I've noticed in this game and in Pokemon, and I call it the level gap. And what that is there's a certain point where fighting like somebody higher level than you becomes ineffective. And the level gap kind of determines how hard the game is. So like Pokemon, you're managing to be able to fight somebody 5 levels higher than you. In this game, if you get 2 or 3 levels ahead, or if they get 2 or 3 levels ahead, you are in trouble. The other issue is your health never increases like bars-wise. I mean, it increases numbers-wise, but never bars-wise. And the enemy has about 5 to 6 bars as you're fighting them. You are stuck with 3 throughout the whole game, which is very difficult in my opinion. Luckily, there are items that can re-heal your health, like Vita Drinks, Senzu Beans, and stuff like that. But again, at that point in the end, you need to stock up on this stuff way ahead of time. I ended up, while I was grinding, looking for like rare items to sell to be able to get a ton just to prepare to fight Super Buu, or Kid Buu, because there's certain parts where if Kid Buu hits you, you lose an entire bar and a half of health. So there's like stuff like that that's very like jarring with this game. Another thing is like any non-major missions don't have voice lines, but they have like quips, I guess is the best way to say it. So like, let's say you walk up to somebody for a quip as Goku, you just go, hey, oh, here, yeah, okay, bye. And it's like, you got the whole text thing, and it kind of gets a little annoying after a while. I just ended up spamming, I think, the square button to speed through stuff just because it got really annoying after a while. And then anytime there's a phone call or King Kai's talking to you, it comes through your controller and it makes you jump. So like, I'll just be sitting there, hey, hey, and then you're like, wait, what the heck? The first time that happened, it really threw me off. But yeah, so that's annoying about it. The fighting, though, let's talk about the actual gameplay in this. The actual gameplay in fighting is very fun. The controls are a little wonky, where like punch instead of being square is circle, key blast is square instead of triangle, triangle is charge instead of whatever it usually is, and guard is left trigger instead of X, which is very weird. The whole setup's kind of weird, but also it has that Budokai Tenkaichi feel of your point of view for the fight. It's not like Dragon Ball Fighters. It is like Budokai, old school Budokai Tenkaichi. What's also nice is you don't need combos to do super moves. You just need enough energy, and then you just hit a certain button, I can't remember which one, and then you hit the corresponding button to the move or transformation you want to do, which I thought was great. Also, each transformation usually comes with a price, unless it's for the story. So like the Goku and Frieza fight, you will stay in Super Saiyan no matter what. Goku versus Boo, you stay in Super Saiyan 3 no matter what, and like stuff like that. But if you freely change to whatever you want, it does affect. So like Kaioken affects your health. The Super Saiyan transformations affect your ki along with your charge. I think the charge is only for Super Saiyan 3 where it affects that. But yeah, so it factors in stuff like that, and it makes the gameplay very fun, even though the gameplay is repetitive. But yeah, the story, the characters also that you play as are great. There's different ways to branch off and build them a certain way. Although, unfortunately, due to the story, you can't choose who you are playing as. So, after a while, it is kind of just a skin copy-paste. Because even though they have their own like special moves and everything, you can't be like, well, future Trunks would be a better fit to fight Boo than Goku right now, so I'm going to use future Trunks. You can't do that. So you have to stick to these characters. So all in all, I'm going to give this game a 8 out of 10. I thought it was very fun, although there are some flaws. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below. It's That Nerd Ryan, signing off.